So let's get into the questions that I have down here. These are from students over the years while I've been teaching AYP classes here in Thailand. So the first question, I think, is very vital question, very simple question, and it's what is inner silence? So first of all, inner silence is the prerequisite. It's the thing that should come first before we do anything here. In the AYP lessons, deep meditation practice is taught first, and deep meditation is our main practice in AYP, not the only one, but the main practice to generate that inner silence. So if you haven't got a inner silence practice, a deep meditation practice, there are many great texts. There's videos here on the AYP Academy. You can refer, you can go to those videos and you can get real great information about how to develop a deep meditation practice, which leads us into inner silence. But what is this inner silence that we're talking about? Well, it's been given many names over the years, many different names, many different traditions have called it different things. For example, like the self, or the void, or emptiness, or Shiva, or maybe the Tao. Many different names describing this same inner silence. In AYP, Yokani also calls it many different things. One of the things he calls it is the witness. So we're developing this idea where we have a witnessing level of attention. So why do we try to generate this inner silence? Well, we could say that it's another form of consciousness, one which is available to us as human beings. There's other levels of consciousness that we're very well aware of. For example, the waking state, what's called the waking state. Yeah, so we're here right now in the waking state. This is one type of consciousness that we have. The other type of consciousness that we sometimes aware of is in the dream state. Yeah, when we sleep at night, sometimes we can remember our dreams, called the dream state, another state of consciousness. A third state of consciousness that we're not aware of, but we know that it happens due to certain scientific researches, etc., is the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, there's also a nothingness, but it doesn't last too long. We're there for a while. We have a lot of stuff going on while we're there as well. There's many instruments, like your health watch or your technology that can measure that state, the deep sleep state. And we know there's a lot of repair and a lot of stuff that's happening in that deep sleep state. It's a very important place to be. But in yoga, we describe a fourth state. That fourth state in Sanskrit is called turiya. That's the inner silent state. It's different from the other three because it's always there and it's unchanging. Unchanging. It's the foundation. So in this course, I described it as the nothing. We said something came from nothing. Shiva is another translation of Shiva given by my teacher, is that which is not. Yeah, Shiva meaning that which is not. So this inner silence, this nothingness, that which is not, is part of our yoga equation. We could say 50%. I really like the Indian way that this is described, this Shiva Shakti. Also AYP describes it many times in the AYP writings, describes it many times in this same way. Shiva is the silent part, yeah, the inner silence, that nothingness, the no thought, no sensations, emptiness. And Shakti is the energy part. So in this program, we've been learning about the energy part. We've been calling it a static conductivity. a kundalini, or maybe Shakti. The other part, the inner silence part, what the question was, what is inner silence, is the other part of our yoga equation. Yeah, the Shiva, the nothingness, the emptiness, the void, the witness. So very, very important that we hold this in our practice. Because if we just do the energy stuff, if we just do all our pranayamas, that's our practice for today, is just to do spinal breathing, Bastrika, and all the rest, then, as we've been saying on this course, you're going to lead yourself into trouble. You're going to get into those overload areas, and you need to be very, very careful there. So very, very important that we develop inner silence along with our energy practices, our pranayama and other energy practices, mudras and bandhas as well. Yeah, so deep meditation is not the only inner silence practice that we have in AYP. For example, we also have other inner silence practices like samyama, self-inquiry, are kind of leaning in that direction towards inner silence. So we have some academy courses on those as well. Also, you can read about them in the writings of AYP. But I hope that's very, very clear how important that inner silence is in our overall practice. That's why we're always making sure in all of our guided practices that we have a 20-minute deep meditation practice.